Allen Iverson made $200 million in the NBA, and by 2012, he was completely broke. Not struggling, not cutting back on vacations, broke. 3 years after his last paycheck, he reportedly could not afford a hotel room. And before you think this is a story about someone being irresponsible, it isn't. This is a story about a system that was never designed to help him keep it. And by the end of this video, you will understand exactly how $200 million disappears and what that means for your own money. Let's start with the number that nobody talks about. That $200 million contract never actually arrived, not even close. The federal government takes 37 cents of every single dollar first, gone before he sees it. Then state taxes take another 13 cents of every dollar for every game played in California. That's already half the money before he buys a single thing. Then his agent takes 4% of the gross contract value, not the leftover amount, the full gross number. That's $8 million straight off the top. Then the people who keep him on the court, his trainer, his nutritionist, his doctor, his physical therapist. These aren't luxuries. His body is his entire business. If it breaks down, the income stops, so you protect it at any cost. Then his lawyer, his publicist, his financial advisor, his personal assistant, all necessary, all expensive, all paid before he sees a dollar. When you add all of that up, a $200 million career delivers around $80 to $90 million in actual usable money. Still extraordinary, but it is not $200 million, and almost nobody tells these players that before they sign. Now let's talk about where that $80 million actually went, month by month, because this is the part that will make everything make sense. During his peak years, Iverson was clearing around $8 million a year after taxes and fees. That sounds like an almost impossible amount of money to spend, but here's what his monthly expenses actually looked like. He had around 50 people on his payroll at the peak of his career. 50 people, staff, security, childhood friends he was supporting, family members depending on him. Conservative estimate for that alone, $200,000 every single month, just in salaries and support, then housing. He maintained multiple properties simultaneously, another $50,000 to $100,000 a month, travel, business class or private flights for himself and his entourage, hotels for 50 people every time the team went on the road, easily another $50,000 a month, cars, a fleet of luxury vehicles, insurance, maintenance, upgrades, another $20,000 to $30,000 a month, jewelry, clothing, entertainment. Iverson was known for his style and his generosity, another $30,000 to $50,000 a month. Add all of that up, and he was spending between $400,000 and $500,000 every single month on $8 million a year in usable income. That leaves almost nothing to invest, almost nothing to save, almost nothing to build with. And that was during the good years. The moment the paychecks slowed down, the expenses didn't. That is the trap. Now here is the part of this story most people misunderstand. The spending wasn't reckless, it was loyal. Allen Iverson grew up in Hampton, Virginia, in real poverty. His mother had him at 15 years old. There were times the family had no heat, no hot water, no food on the table. The people around him as a kid were the people who got him through that. When the money came, he took care of them, all of them. And that loyalty is genuinely admirable. But loyalty without a financial structure around it will drain any account, no matter how large. Researchers who study athlete bankruptcy call this the social tax, the invisible financial obligation that comes with being the one who made it out. And it is absolutely relentless. But the social tax alone doesn't drain $200 million. For that, you need bad advice, and the sports industry has an entire ecosystem built around giving it.
And these players will only have about
4.5 years. 4.5 years to earn everything you will ever earn from the game. Most people have 40 years to build financial security. NBA players have 4 years to earn it, 4 years to learn how to keep it, 4 years to build something that has to last the rest of their life, while playing 82 games a season, while traveling 300 days a year, while managing injuries and performing at the absolute peak of human athletic ability. Financial literacy takes years to develop. These players simply do not have years to figure it out before the money is already moving. Now here's the twist in this story that almost nobody knows about. Back in 2001, when Iverson signed his lifetime deal with Reebok, someone quietly negotiated a specific clause into that contract, a trust fund, $32 million, locked away and completely untouchable until he turns 55 years old. It didn't matter what was happening in his life. It didn't matter how desperate things got. That money had a wall around it that nothing could break through. And that trust fund is the only reason Allen Iverson is financially okay today. Not discipline, not a smart investment he made later, a single contract clause that protected him from everything. The one pot of money that had a structure around it survived. Everything else didn't. Now let's look at someone who saw exactly what was happening to players like Iverson and decided to do something completely different. LeBron James turned pro at 18 with almost no financial education either. Same age, same industry, same pressures, but he did one thing differently from almost every player who came before him. He built a team around him whose only job was to protect him from bad decisions. Not friends, not yes men, professionals who got paid only when he won. At 21 years old, he restructured his entire approach to money. He stopped taking guaranteed endorsement fees up front and started asking for something different: ownership, small equity stakes in companies instead of flat payment, a percentage of a pizza chain, a stake in a media company, equity in brands that were quietly growing. None of those individual deals seemed dramatic at the time. But here's the thing about ownership that a salary can never do. A salary stops the day you stop playing. Ownership keeps growing whether you are on the court or not. By the time LeBron stepped back from playing, his business portfolio was worth more than every dollar he had ever earned in salary and endorsements combined. He didn't just earn money, he built a system that kept earning after the jersey was retired. So when you put these two stories side by side, the lesson becomes impossible to ignore. Both men entered the NBA with generational earning potential. Both faced the same taxes, the same pressures, the same temptations. The difference was never talent. The difference was structure. Iverson's money flowed in and straight back out with nothing to stop it. LeBron built walls around his money before it could disappear. The Reebok trust fund that saved Iverson worked for the exact same reason LeBron's equity strategy worked. It created a structure the money could not escape from. And here is why that matters for you specifically. The same forces that drained Iverson's account are working on yours right now, just more slowly. Taxes nobody fully explains, fees buried in fine print, social pressure to spend in ways that signal success instead of building it, bad advice from people who profit whether you win or lose. The question was never, how much are you making? The question is, what structure do you have in place to make sure you keep it? If this changed how you think about money, subscribe and watch the next video now, because next we are breaking down the full LeBron business empire. Every company, every equity stake, every decision he made starting at age 21 that turned a basketball salary into a billion-dollar portfolio. And the lessons inside that story apply to anyone trying to build something that lasts. You do not want to miss it.